Good afternoon. My name is Linh Trang and I'm from English number 6. Today I'm gonna talk about the topic classification of English consonant. Firstly, about the definition of consonants, they are the sounds in the projection of which one articulator moves toward another or two articulator come together, obstructing the airstream, and the airstream cannot get out freely. Okay, let's move to our main point today, that is classification of consonants. According to place of articulation, manner of articulation, voicing, and vowel position, there are many type of consonants. Okay, firstly, I'll talk about the type of consonant based on the place of articulation. There are, according to place of articulation, there are 9 types of consonants. The first one is bilabial, sounds with two lips together. For example, b or p or bike, pike. The second type is dental. They are sounds with the tip or blade of the tongue put between the upper and lower front teeth, like this. Okay, for example, and think this. The third type is labial dental. They are sounds with the lower lip touching the upper front teeth. And okay, the next is alveolar. They are sounds with the tip or blade of the tongue touching or approaching the alveolar ridge. For example, like, to, and do. The next type is plato alveolar. They are sounds with the tongue tip or blade coming close to the area between the back of the alveolar ridge and the front of the hard plate. For example, sh and ch. Sugar, shake. The next type is retroflex. They are sounds with the tongue curling back toward the back of the alveolar ridge. For example, right, road. Okay. And the next is velar. They are sounds which are produced with the back of the tongue touching the subplate, like or keep, gate. Okay, the last one is glottal. They are sound. Glottal is the sound with no use of the tongue or other part of the mouth. Okay, for example, house, his. Okay, the second part belongs based on the manner of articulation. We have maybe five type of consonants that are stops, fricative, affricative, lateral, and approximant. Okay, manner of articulation is the way in which the airstream is obstructed. The first type is stops. stop, there is a complete closure of the articulator involved so that the airstream cannot escape through the mouth. There are two kinds of stops, many kinds. Oral stops. There are sounds with the airstream being stopped in the oral cavity and the subplate is raised, blocking off the nasal cavity. Then the two articulators come apart quickly and the air escapes through the oral cavity. For example, p, b, k, pack, back, Kate. Okay. The second kind of stops is nasal stops. They are sounds with the airstream being stopped in the oral cavity, but the subplate is down so that the air can go out through the nose. Okay. The next type is fricative. The sounds in the production of which two articulations come close together, but there's a small opening between two articulator. There's a more small opening so that the airstream can obstruct, and an audible friction noise is produced. For example, sh, z. The next type is affricates. Their sounds which are produced when a stop is immediately followed by a fricative. Ch and j, j, ch, j. The next type is lateral. This sound is made when the stream escapes along the sides of the tongue, like oh. The last type, according to the manner of articulation, is approximant. They are sounds in the projection of which two articulators come close together, but without the vocal tract being narrow to such an extent that a friction noise is produced. For example, yeah, Okay. The third basic is according to voicing. According to voicing, we have voiced consonants and voiceless consonants. Voiced consonants are produced when the vocal cords are vibrating. For example, b, d, r, v, f. And voiceless consonants are produced when the vocal cords are not vibrating, like p, t, k, f. Okay. The last point is velum position. That is about velum behavior. It can raise up or lower down. It can raise up or lower down. Okay. Some raise up sounds like b, p, k, r, or some lower down with like forming a gap, like Okay. We can also describe the sound according to 4 classification of consonants. For example, the sound b. It is voiced by labial oral stops. Or the next example, it is voiced by labial nasal stops. Another example, it is voiced I'm sorry, alveolar, voiced alveolar fricative. And the next example, the last example, it is voiced retrolax as approximant. So this is the end of my video. I know my video is not really good and of course not very perfect, or there are many mistakes. So leave your comment if you have anything to say with me. Thank you for watching and listening. Goodbye.